So, Anita, I am dying to know what you think of all of the controversy surrounding the Indiana law and the LGBT discrimination or alleged discrimination. What are your thoughts on what's going on?
Well, I think Governor Pence, I don't know whether he was playing possum or sort of faking it when he's saying he was so shocked at the reaction to this legislation, which plainly is discriminatory. I think we learned a powerful lesson here that's very interesting for the election going forward, in that this is not 2004, where Republicans very successfully used wedge issues to get people to the polls and to win George Bush reelection. I don't think the
Right.
country is in the same place anymore.
I think that he is being a little bit sincere when he says he's surprised at how shocked people were. If you kind of change the sentence to say he's surprised at who was shocked, I think he was surprised at business leaders, CEOs, tycoons burning up his phone lines and saying, "What are you doing?" It's not
Yeah.
often that you see sports agents and franchises and multi-million dollar executives saying, "Listen, we're taking a stand on this social issue." And I think it was such a sign that the times have changed. But I'm going to go one step further. I think that this actually is going to change the conversation about LGBT rights in the future. What do you think?
I think it will too. I mean, I can't say that I disagree with it, because now we're seeing that when business leaders, and when you even have Walmart saying we celebrate
Right.
diversity, Walmart. I mean, is this you talk about something else that would make anybody's head explode, to think that they're going to stand on the side of LGBT. But I think that is the biggest indication that we really have changed the conversation, and that as gay rights and as gay people are just more prevalent, and people know, oh, well, this is my cousin so and so, this is my brother, this is my friend, this is my coworker. When you put a face to something that Republicans were trying to make, or certain Republicans were trying to make a scourge of, and you see, no, these are people we love, these are people we care about, it becomes a lot harder to pull off this kind of legislation and say, oh, it's something over there, and to not take it personally.
Yeah, I think part of it was the personification of it, like you were saying, but we've seen teenagers that have killed themselves from bullying. We've
Yeah,
talked about gay
absolutely.
couples that couldn't see each other when they were dying in the hospital. And it never mattered before. I don't think they suddenly got a heart. I think they suddenly got a poll that they didn't like, you know.
Yes,
This
yeah.
is- and I
But
think we're going
this
to see that in 2016.
I think you're right. I think the biggest problem is, when people do something wrong and they say they apologize for it, my question is always, are they apologizing because they mean it, or they apologize because they got caught? And
Right,
this has happened with a number of administrations, for instance, where they'll put out legislation, or they'll attempt to float it up the flagpole that's
right.
really unpopular. And then there's a big outcry. Oh, we were just kidding. I mean, they really try to get away with it. They were trying to put something over on people. And I really think Governor Pence was doing the same thing. Otherwise, why would you sign this legislation in secret? But Shauna, I'm curious, where do you see the parties going forward? I mean, do you think that this is going to have a big effect on where they fall in 2016 in terms of how Democrats and Republicans define themselves?
I think it's more about how the GOP defines itself and which candidates
Hmm.
emerge, because this was a big sign on the religious right that they did not have the power that they thought they did. What this did, in my opinion, is fracture the business community away from the religious right, which we have not seen in such a clear way for quite some time, which means money's going to be divided and candidates are going to scramble on one side or another. And what I think is so funny, I've said for a while that Jeb Bush is going to be the candidate of the middle, and that's going to get him nowhere. And so he
Right.
tried to be Mr. I agree with this, religious, 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 and then somebody whispered in his ear, "Oh wait,
Flip
no,
flop.
business, business, business," right?
Right. Flip flop. You can run, but you can't hide, as his brother famously said in 2004. Well, Jeb Bush isn't going to be able to hide either. And coming down on one side of this legislation only to change his mind. I mean, Republicans at this point are very much a fractured party, and I think they're going to find going forward, they are very much torn between doubling down to hold on to their religious base, or trying to say, well,
Right.
who are we in the 21st century? I mean, I think Democrats, they really are going to I think, stay the course. I mean, they don't have to change who they are. They have a progressive agenda, or they're on the side of LGBT rights and women's rights, and that's going to stay the same. And they're going to keep touting income inequality and a sort of populism, I think. But Republicans are really going to have trouble staking out a territory that would appeal to independents. How are they going to win a national election? They've only won one popular vote once in the last 6 election cycles.
Well, to quote, the philosopher Chris Tucker in Rush Hour 2, follow the rich white man with money. And so that's what we're going to start seeing happen is we're going to see where the money goes, and that's going to be a sign of strength. And before we have any actual contest, that's what I think is going to define and determine which candidates are viable. And it'll be interesting to see on this tug of war which side they scramble on, and I know we're going to be watching it the entire time.
Absolutely, and it's lovely to talk to someone who doesn't have a cynical bone in her body. Shauna, bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in for another edition of Dare We Say. This is Shauna Bircher and Anita Finley signing off.